Hey guys, welcome to my channel Miss Recap. Today I am going to explain the Netflix series The Sandman episode 5. In episode 5, after leaving Rosemary, John goes to a local dinner. Now you have basically got 6 characters in this episode. Bet the waitress, who is upbeat, energetic, but also looks pretty damn tired. Her big dream, though, is to become a successful writer. She thought she was gonna have more time to write when her son went off to college, but it really has not been the case. She has a big crush on the owner/cook Marsh, but he is pretty short with her anytime. She talks to him and she's had Marsh over a couple of times to eat dinner, but nothing's really come with the relationship. Then you have got Judy. She just broke up with her girlfriend Donna. Maybe they had a big fight, and Judy has not heard from Donna since, so she is kind of freaking out a little bit. Really stressed out. You have got Mark. He is young interviewing at Vanguard, and he is pretty stressed out as well because he is just nervous about his job interview. And then finally you have Gary and his wife Kate, who is the CEO of Vanguard. Gary works for her. They both were regulars at the diner and they were introduced by Beth, so she looks at them like they are her growing achievement. They are celebrating their 5 years wedding anniversary that day. And while they seem happy on the outside, you can tell that their relationship is a little bit fractured. Like when she orders 2 spinach salad for the table, but Gary actually wants a burger and he knows that he is gonna get crap from her. If he ends up ordering what he wants, John watches everybody interact with each other and all he sees is a bunch of lies he wants to fix the world, which means getting rid of the lies. So he starts using the ruby to do that. Next thing you know, the couples start fighting. Gary starts pushing back on the fact that he has no authority and he gets pushed around by Kate all the damn time. Then you have got Judy, who was pretty rude to Mark from the get-go. But Mark was nice enough. Now with the power of the ruby, he pushes back a little bit. Like when Judy mentions how she can't get in touch with her girlfriend, Mark says that because she doesn't want to talk to you. It pisses off Judy so much that she tries to leave the diner, but she can't. She just turns right back around, which is a trend. Everyone is basically trapped in the diner, even Gary and his wife. When they get up to leave, they just stop at the door, turn around, and act like they are entering it for the first time. Probably the most powerful truth moment is with Marsh and Beth, that finally finds out why Marsh has not really returned her romantic advances. She invites Marsh over for dinner and then says maybe afterwards we can get in my bed. But that's when he says that he doesn't want to do that because the only reason he comes over for dinner is he wants somebody else cooking for him for once. And then he waits for her to fall asleep on the couch and he goes upstairs and has sex with her son, who by the way is 21. So it's not like this is a pedophile thing. But that comes a really big surprise to Beth. Then John turns it up a notch. Gary overhears the commotion of the kitchen, so he heads in there and he starts talking to Marge. Turns out Gary is not the most loyal husband in the world because his wife frustrates the hell out of him. And as he tells Marge, everyone's in a voyeur. You just kind of want it sucked. If you know what I am saying, yeah, Marge definitely knows what you are saying, Gary, and he is more than willing. So Marsh ends up going down on Gary, while on the outside in the diner, Beth had introduced Mark to the CEO of Vanguard. She decided to just hold the interview right then and there. But the interview was not a normal interview. It goes to know who Mark is, and then it turns into filtration, and then it turns into them having full-on sex in the diner. And then finally Judy and Beth hooked up, but when suddenly all of this turns really dark. When Gary comes out and sees Mark hooking up with his wife, he just completely forgets the fact that he got sucked off by a guy. A mere 10 seconds ago, he goes into a fit of rage and starts attacking Mark. And Mark ends up stabbing him in the neck out of self-defense. And this is not the only violence that's occurring, because John, with the help of the ruby, is not just affecting the diner, he is affecting the world. The new cast says there is a fit of violence going on worldwide. And that's when Beth realizes that everything had changed when John entered the diner. She thought when he said he wanted to change the world, she has just kind of saying that. but now she sees that he is in fact changing the world. But it's not for the better, and John points out, all I did was take away the lies. This is who you people really are. When Mars points out that he didn't want to kill Gary, John says, well, yeah, you did, because if you didn't, you would have died for you a world where you didn't have to suffer in it. But it appears that you actually enjoy your suffering, and then with the power of the ruby, they all start self-mutilation, and when it ends, everyone's dead except for Beth. And she asks John, why did you do this? How is this making the world better? And he tells her that you are looking at this with your eyes. You need to close your eyes and then you will see it. So she does that. She stabs herself in the eyes, but she starts telling John exactly what she sees, saying, you come from dust, you walk the dust, you go back to dust. But it's not really Judy talking, it's actually the fates. And one of the things that they tell them is you have stolen the power of dreams and you will take all of it. In fact, you will crush the Dream Lord's life in your hands. And that is when through the door Dream walks in. Dream tells him that he has to give back to Ruby because all of this madness that he started the Ruby was not made for that. You need to return it to me so I can repair all the damage you have done. John doesn't want to give it up though, and Morpheus explains to him that it's actually harming him and it's harming the world. John thinks of it like he is revealing the truth, but Dream explains no, the truth is that all of these people have dreamed like Beth had dreams of being a writer. Gary had dreams of being something and proving his father wrong. You took that from them. That ruby is hurting you. It's got too much of my power in it, and it stole even more when I tried to use it. And that's when John says, well, if I steal the rest of your powers, then I become the king of dreams. And Dream explains that if he is going to rob a dream lord of his powers, he is going to do it in his hand, the realm of dreams. So he put John in there, and he put him in a really tough situation. At first, he is about to make out with his mother back at the Burgess household. But then he is back in the insane asylum and his mother is choking him. Although when John realizes none of this is real, it's all fake, suddenly he is in Dream's castle and with the power of the ruby, he starts destroying it. When Morpheus eventually shows up, he starts destroying him as well. The ruby starts sucking up Morpheus until there are nothing left. And at that moment, John thinks he had won. So he decides to crush the ruby, but in reality he lost because all of that was a dream except for the fact that he crushed the ruby that actually happened, and when he destroyed the ruby he realized the power inside of it. So Morpheus has all of his powers back. He could kill John, but instead he put him back in the mental institution and he has him just sleep. When he walks out for the diner, he is greeted by Matthew and the world is pretty messed up. I mean, it looks like the purge took place. And that's because it basically did thanks to the ruby's power. John ended up opening up a bunch of wounds, showing people the truth. But the truth has consequences. And the consequences were a bunch of violence and a bunch of new wounds. Now Dream has to start rebuilding the world, making it as it was. He will start doing most of the heavy lifting the next day. But for the time being, he tells Matthew at least tonight the world will sleep well. But Dream was not the only one overhearing this conversation, because so is his sibling Desire. The episode ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.